I think it's inevitable. We need to do something about Sony Pictures.
I think you're right. I mean, look at the internal environment.
Yeah, Sony Pictures reported a $913 million loss in quarter 3 of last year.
This is ridiculous. They're dragging down Sony Corp's overall profits.
This loss leads to less funds being channeled into our successful divisions.
It just doesn't fit our system. It's not sustainable with all those quarterly losses.
When you look at the multiple business units that we have under Sony Corporation's umbrella, Sony Pictures does not create value the way the others do. We don't have a competitive advantage by producing failing movies. We do have a competitive advantage in other industries, such as PlayStation VR and our lens technology.
Agreed. And our mobile division has the best camera tech on the phone market, which we get from our imaging department.
Yeah, we have a great synergistic relationship.
We also have Beyonce.
Guys, I think we have to do something about Sony Pictures.
Hey guys, what are you doing today?
Let's look at the results of performing an issues matrix on some of the components surrounding Sony Pictures.
It's pretty clear from our financial statements earlier and this matrix that our low profits need to be addressed immediately. If this keeps going on, our stock price can drop in the future. It's already been really inconsistent since 2010.
We do have our current and future movies that could pose challenges for us, but those aren't as imperative as solving our profit problem.
I think we need to create a strategic initiative to dissolve Sony Pictures that also highlights the success of our other divisions that are turning impressive revenues and positive profits.
Why don't we entitle this strategic initiative Lights, Camera, Progress?
I like that. It lets our employees know that we care about them and aren't trying to cut them out of the company. We need to acknowledge the division is failing, but the name is a nice homage to it moving forward.
Yeah, it's kind of like Best Buy's Renew Blue initiative. They attempted to renew their retail stores and customer satisfaction.
Exactly. Except this isn't as much a renewal as it is a discontinuous transformation. This is a one-time, canvas-changing initiative that's going to have huge implications for Sony Corporation. We're going to go through a serious change.
I would say the change is more of a restoration. We're channeling funds allocated from Sony Pictures back into our other divisions.
Yeah, it's not really an evolutionary change. It's a revolutionary change. We're altering the company for the long run. It's important and imminent.
And we can also consider this an exploratory initiative. We've had this division since 1991, so this is uncharted territory for us and sets a precedent in the industry. You don't see companies dissolving their movie studios every day.
Yeah, but we'll be able to explore new capabilities with the funds freed from dissolving Sony Pictures.
Okay, so let's pause for a recap of the attributes of this strategic initiative.
Now let's look over the gains and losses we're going to experience with Lights, Camera, Progress.
We'll gain the ability to stop investing in unprofitable segments. We can actually gain money from selling Sony Pictures' intellectual property and assets.
Yeah, we'll essentially be losing deadweight that can be more effective elsewhere.
We will be losing synergies we've exploited in the past, though, like using artist songs from Sony Music in movies or shooting a movie with our digital image technology.
Asia was one of our biggest film markets. We're potentially ruining the Guangxi we've built there.
We'll also be losing merchandise from certain intellectual properties. But given all the quarterly losses, that's not saying much.
Okay, let's go over this one more time.
What about the parts plus MM? If we look at it from that perspective, there's a lot going on. From the people perspective, we'll have to restructure certain employees to other segments and lay off others. There will be a lot of severance packages. We might even be able to find someone to buy Sony Pictures instead of completely liquidating it.
Speaking of liquidation, we'd have to perform a liquidation analysis as the first activity. We want to see how much the division is actually worth if we unload it. I mean, it could turn out that it isn't worth to sell. If we do sell, though, we'll also need to have sales of all the exclusive movie character licenses that we have, as well as our other licenses.
Before we alert the media we're dissolving Sony Pictures, we need to alert our company. Our people should know first. Just like we said when we were naming our initiative, our people do matter. The last thing they need is to find out we're dissolving the division on TMZ or something.
Then we'll have to satisfy current contracts before anything happens. You know, tie up loose ends.
What resources do we have besides our HR department?
Well, we also have our legal team to help with the contracts. And our accounting team will have to go through the evaluation of our assets, sales, and our properties.
Yeah, it might take about a year to shut down the division and up to 5 years to sell off all of our licenses and finish up filming movies in progress. It's best to move about this as quick as possible because Sony Pictures is hemorrhaging money. The licenses will take longer as they're intangible and don't decline in value over time.
If we're lucky, we'll be able to strike a licensing deal as fruitful as the one Disney did with Tokyo and Disney in Japan. If we do that, even though we won't have Sony Pictures anymore, we can still profit off of our intellectual property.
This dissolve is symbolic. It's not a mark of change. It's a mark of moving forward to better things. That's why it's lights, camera, progress.
Yes, we're fully ready to invest in prosperous divisions. But this could also signify to other companies that a new opportunity is open in the movie distribution market. It could be a sign that we're ready to innovate in our other segments, like our interactive entertainment one. We'll have to watch for competitive responses and evaluate the attributes of other companies as well as our own.
How will we measure our success with this?
We'll definitely have higher net income and higher sales in other divisions as well.
Our milestones can be new innovations. In other divisions, through a proper allocation of leftover assets.
You guys want to recap the parts plus MM one more time?
Okay, now that we've got this parts plus MM, let's look at how this strategic initiative is going to impact our other divisions. Clearly, my division is going to be affected the most since we're getting rid of it.
Our digital imaging industry will lose some of our synergistic relationships by not having cameras to give.
Sony Music will lose synergies because our artists won't have featured music in those movies anymore. On the other hand, that opens a spot for a strategic alliance with another movie group that doesn't also have one of our competitor record companies. You know, we could even partner up with another company in a joint venture and maybe even create a totally new movie group.
Our mobile division will be basically unaffected.
Our interactive entertainment division will lose some synergies, but we can repurpose our writers for video games. The storylines in them are just as important as in the movies. And they will have more money for research and development for things such as consoles, peripherals, and game development.
It seems like some divisions are going to be more affected than others. Let's go over it again.
We'll have to come up with a strategy canvas. This way, we can see the current strategic landscape without Sony Pictures and try to come up with future prospects for Sony Corp.
You're right. We might have an opportunity to create a blue ocean. We'll have leftover money from selling assets and cutting losses. With our movie industry gone, this money can go to research and development. We might be able to innovate in the interactive entertainment industry the digital imaging industry, or even the music industry, and create a new market or a new product, just like those Yellowtail guys did. We could find a blue ocean.
Hopefully, with the money we're saving, we can reassign employees to more profitable divisions and promote higher sales. The board would love to give higher dividends, which would lead to a higher stock price.
We've got some good future prospects. Let's see them one more time.
Are we sure this is a good idea? This is a pretty big strategic initiative. There's a lot which could go wrong.
I think we're okay for now. We only have one initiative, and it's not like we're spreading ourselves out too thin. We'll focus on only a few things at a time, and we won't fall into the growth trap.
It's all about prioritizing. As long as we do that, we'll be ahead of the game. We do have efficient resources for this, and our management team is top-notch. Despite some of the synergies it has created, because of the way the division is structured and the problems it hasn't been able to solve, it's Sony Pictures that doesn't fit our system, not the other way around.
Okay, so let's go over this. Is this a solid strategic initiative?
Well, it's definitely a temporary initiative. Once we get rid of Sony Pictures, it's gone, leaving only the possible strategic alliances we've made through the sales of intellectual property.
It's also definitely coordinated. We're going to need the help of the entire company to ensure that this initiative operates smoothly and successfully.
It's good that our strategy is changing with this dissolution. The movie environment is changing with big players such as Netflix popularizing the streaming industry. Movie companies which aren't profitable or don't adapt to the new fit of the external environment will face big losses, just like we did.
Strategies should continue to evolve. If they don't, they're a dinosaur strategy. It's not good for business.
I think overall, this is going to be a positive, long-term evolution for us through a revolutionary change.
Let's get one last look at our evaluation of the initiative.
So, now that we reached the decision and set up some evaluative points, let's take the steps to kick-starting this initiative. The first step for this board is to alert the divisions of our intention to implement this strategic initiative.
We should notify the marketing department to draft a press release and a letter to employees. Remember, they need to know first. We must make sure we have control of the message.
We need to assure other studios that we're working with that we will finish the production of any movies currently in progress or under contract.
All right, fellas, I think we're moving in the right direction.
Let's reward ourselves with a well-earned break. I've got box seats to a Scrappers game.
Hey, wait. What am I in charge of now?
Don't stop.